Welcome to a podcast on 5 daily focus points to maintain a purposeful life. Every day, we should prepare ourselves to be great. I have learned that not taking the time to prep my mind before I start my day is doing a disservice to myself. The process of building confidence and clarity is important if we are to meet life challenges daily. We can't afford to think that what we did 1 year, 1 month, a week, or even a day ago is enough to sustain us for the present day we are facing. What I'm talking about is more than giving yourself a quick pep talk about how good you are and how you got what it takes to do what you need to do. It's more about what you're willing to do. I like the Bible scripture that says, put on the whole armor of God. It's found in Ephesians 6:11. Throughout our day, we are not just making decisions about what we are going to eat for breakfast or what time we are leaving for work. Because of what's going on around you, you may think that this is the only hurdle to get over. No, the real battle is in the depths of our minds. Those things we wrestle with that nobody knows about. Those things that cause us pain or hurt us so that we feel like it's not worth living. In some instances, we become master actors or actresses because we manage to put a smile on our face even though that is not the way we feel. I believe everyone has a purpose in life. It's up to each of us to live it or not. I have found that the purpose assigned to us is not always the one we work so hard at achieving day to day. To get to the place in our heart where we feel that we are living and achieving in our true purpose or calling in life requires a daily commitment of listening, acknowledgement, and then doing. Today, I want to share 5 points with you that have helped me focus on what's important and maintain motivation in my life. I hope it will do the same for you. Point 1 is about being grateful. Gratefulness comes from knowing that there are some things that you can't influence to happen, like waking up every morning or making the sun rise. Those are events in your life that no matter what you do, you can't control them. You can hope that you will continue breathing through the night and wake up to see the sunrise, but nothing you do makes it so. Each day gives us something to be grateful for. When we realize that there is something more offered to us with each new day, we can appreciate the opportunity to be in it. We then can show our appreciation by being grateful. Being grateful to me is such a broad phrase that encompasses so much of what we think and do. I think it's often taken for granted, a lot of the things we get to experience. So much to the point that some will say what they have is not enough, even when they are not willing to do what it takes to be better or get more. Being grateful is an attitude and awareness of all that you have been given and the opportunity you have for more. Another meaningful scripture says, if you are thankful over a few things, God will make you ruler over many. This says to me, if you can't take care of the small things, how can you care for more? In the morning, I like to meditate on what I'm grateful for. Doing this allows me to focus on seeing the not so pleasant events in my life and appreciate the lessons that come with them. I am reminded to grow and develop beyond my comfort zone. Point number 2, evaluation of failure, letting go, and forgiveness. For point 2, you get 3 for the price of 1. Every day we are faced with the decision to let go of failures and hurt. If you have ever awakened in the morning asking the why me question, then I hope this will be helpful for you. I used to wonder why certain things happened to me or why someone treated me a certain way. There were times that I would wake up in the morning and not feel capable to face the day because I allowed myself to be overloaded with different things in my life that hurt me. I didn't feel good about my failures. I blamed myself for not doing things better, even when I didn't know how at the time. Under this pile of pain and hurt, I existed. You can function this way day to day. You can still go to work and care for your family and carry out routines of daily living and still have the pain beneath the surface. There have been different times in my life where I overcame my pain and lived courageously. Then here it comes again. I'm not going to tell you that forgiving and letting go of past failures and hurt happens instantly. There is a process of understanding, examination, and awareness of self to go through. While taking the time to engage in this process, I learned some things. I dug deep into my core to the earliest age I could remember, and I saw who I was. Then I followed that path from the point to who I was at that moment. So much had happened, and I allowed a lot of it to influence who I was at the core. I knew at that moment that I had to let go, forgive, and say goodbye to the hurt and pain for good. What I believe drives us in the direction of healing is that we are seeking something. In my case, I was seeking freedom, peace, love, comfort, acceptance. I could really go on with this list, but you get my point. My challenge was I created this barrier that blocked me from experiencing what I wanted. You may be familiar with what I'm saying. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Remember that? Well, the words and behaviors hurt me. I was broken on the inside, and that's where I needed to be healed. Things got better for me when I learned how to forgive. Forgiving encompasses letting go of any pain and hurt. It also allowed me to evaluate my failures, to learn from them, not blame anyone else. There were some things in my life that could have turned out different if I was focused in a different way. And that, right there, I had to own. By forgiving, I released any expectation from those I felt hurt from. Nothing could be changed. Time passes on each day. There is no way of convincing anyone who hurt you that they did something wrong. If they don't see it that way, I had to let that go. By forgiving, I had to let all that go. My freedom was at stake. When you forgive, you release the weight that attempts to hold you in a stagnant position. Once that weight is gone, you can now get clarity on how to navigate life in a way that nurtures who you are at the core. When I started seeing that little girl again, I knew I was on the right track. Every day, you must take a moment to forgive and let go. Life has a way of beating us up at times, but each day we can make the choice to forgive where we need to. I like the scripture in Matthew where Jesus was presented with the number of how often we should forgive. He answered 70 times 7. I don't think he meant when you get to that number, you can stop. I believe it was an illustration of continual forgiving, even towards yourself. We don't need any barriers to hold us from the best of what this life has to offer. Point 3, believe in something bigger than you. We all believe in something or someone. The proof is shown in how we behave, who we confide in, who we look up to. The point I want to get across in this, that sometimes we need more to believe in than ourselves and others. This makes more sense if you have ever been let down by someone, taken for granted, or just needed more than what someone could offer. Sometimes the things in this world just don't make sense. You may find yourself wanting a deeper understanding. Believing in something bigger than you calls for the activity of examination, investigation, and assessing needs. Just like there are questions in the reliability of things we purchase, the same concern should be in what we believe in. Every day, challenge your belief. Is there evidence that something bigger than you exists? Have you ever been comforted by a still, calm voice inside you? Think over your life. Has a problem ever been solved that you had nothing to do with? Your belief is a personal matter. I challenge you to find what works for you, but even more, I challenge you to weigh your belief on the scales. Is it enough in taking care of you and all your needs, or does it lack something? Point 4, choose your lifestyle. The lifestyle you choose dictates the path you take to your success. This includes every category of your life. The foods you will eat, the people you will be around, what material you read, what movies you watch, the entertainment you engage in, morals and values you adopt, assets you possess, and your choice in faith or no faith beyond yourself. Each lifestyle category should be dissected further for clarity in your own life. It is not my intention to tell you what works best for you with the stage you set for yourself. I can tell you what works for me only. I often say I am not from this planet jokingly. That's to say, the way I go about life may not agree with how most people think, but it works for me. To get at a lifestyle that fits you takes some doing. You may find some barriers that block you from seeing it clearly. Things that people have said to you or experiences you have had can cloud your vision. I suggest taking some time and space to get clear mentally. Go into your closet and shut the door if you have one. Tune out the noise around you and the ones in your head, because sometimes those can be the loudest. Look for the honest voice within you that describes who you are directly. It doesn't attempt to make excuses for itself. It just is. Then accept that. In finding what lifestyle works for me, I had to get out of what felt easy and comfortable. I thought about who I was at the core. This took me down memory lane as I thought about all the sacrifices I made and compromising I did for the sake of peace. Then I thought, what are my goals? What is my message? Is it truly my message? This is where that bigger than me faith showed up as influential. Our messages agreed. This is my safe zone. my lifestyle. Keep in mind that your way of thinking and living is not comfortable for everyone. It may not fit their goals or intentions. If it is your decision to conform, don't let me stop you. My quest for knowledge and understanding has taught me that everything doesn't have to look the same to reach the same outcome. But mind you, that doesn't relax you from gaining clarity of all dimensions of your mind. Because the mind is where the true struggle with anything lies. We all have a choice to choose the life we want to live. It seems that this becomes increasingly important as we age for some of us. Suddenly there's this rush to live life a certain way. Time feels like it's running out. The challenge is to feel that sense of urgency daily. Allow that feeling to make you focus on well thought out moves instead of hasty ones. Take the time to understand how everything you do fits with the larger plan of success you envision. In that routine, you will find many things that you are capable of. The last point number 5, maintain your focus throughout the day. I know this can be challenging. Maintaining motivation is a cycle of reviewing and evaluation. It is an intentional look at what works and don't work. Nothing can be left out. We are by nature resilient people. We can take more than we think and keep ticking along. But what happens when we think we reached our limits? Either we cave in or we start searching for answers. Our mind never stops. So throughout the course of a day, many things can go wrong or right. We can take things a certain way that could possibly take us down a very deep hole. So let's say you were having a great day and suddenly you were hit by a car. Here you are, riding along and minding your own business, and pow! A car that you thought would stop at the stop sign before it decided to ignore it. Your day is now thrown off course. You are not dead, but you are pretty banged up. Your mode of transportation is no longer rideable. But the good news is, you are breathing. Though it hurts, you can walk and your mind is slightly cloudy, but you still have enough wits about you to know who you are. And to add to the story, when the paramedics arrive, they offer a Band-Aid for the smallest scrape on your ankle. You thought they would at least do a neuro check or blood pressure, maybe even clean up the large abrasion on your back from being knocked out into the road, to the hard pavement. Something for such an event, but no. They only did what they felt like doing. Life has some things that will hit you out of nowhere. This is where you either drown or swim. In that moment, so many thoughts can bombard your mind. Why? How? Is it something I did? Was the driver drunk? Why me? I got things to do. This is a true story of when I was hit while riding my bike, but it's also a great illustration for how we must not lose focus on who we are, what we believe, and where we are going in life. In that moment, I reminded myself of who I was and what I was entitled to, and I called on my help. See, I didn't know right away if my ribs were broken or if there was any internal damage. All I knew is that I was not going to go to the hospital and sit for them to do the same thing I could do at home, except my way. So with that being the case, I wasn't accepting anything severe. Though my body looked and felt banged up, I knew I was going to be all right. I was grateful that my husband was there. His support was comforting. I remember thinking I can walk, though it hurts, so I can get home. My mind was intact, so I could remember, this too shall pass. And it's funny, the little saying came to my head, sticks and stones may break my bones, but I'm not done. My time is not up. This is not how my life ends. When you find yourself in a situation that beats you up in some way, anyway, refuse doubt right away. As much as you can, don't give in to all the emotions you are feeling. Try to think logically and maintain focus on the larger picture outside of the situation. I will leave you with this. Don't let any situation fool you into thinking all is lost. You must speak life and not death. If you can devote yourself to the 5 points that I shared in this podcast, you will be successful in your daily life. Thank you for listening.